In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to discipline your dog when he does something wrong. So stay tuned.
Let me tell you a story about the baddest dog that ever was. Sneaking food from the fridge, tearing up the garbage. He's a goofy old Dexter the dog. He's a bad Dexter the dog. The baddest pup that there ever was. Seat stealing all day long, howling like a junkyard dog.
So one thing people tend to ask me a lot about is, how do I tell my dog when he's wrong? How do I discipline him? I want to be positive and motivating, but what do I do when he doesn't listen or when he does something that he shouldn't do? So if this sounds familiar, you're going to want to pay close attention. How do you discipline your dog? You don't. I don't say that because I'm a softie or a big mush, but I say that because what we want to do is we want to teach our dogs what we want of them. And it's our job to really support them and to teach them in a controlled environment the best that we can what those things are. So instead of getting focused on what my dog's done wrong and how to stop him from doing that, and I see that all the time from people's questions. How do I stop X? How do I get my dog to not? But instead, we need to focus on, how do I get my dog to? How do I teach my dog to sit instead of jump? How do I teach my dog to come to me instead of barking at the windows? So those are the things that we need to focus on. We want to teach our dogs what we want, not what we don't want. And a lot of the behaviors that people want to stop are dog behaviors. They're natural behaviors that dogs do. Dogs bark, dogs jump, dogs lick. So we're asking them to not do doggy things. So that's okay. We can teach them how to live in our world and how to be polite and how not to jump and how to come to us instead of barking at the window. But we are going to need to teach them those behaviors. And we do need to understand that those are natural dog behaviors. That's what dogs do. So you got to give them a little slack. They're not doing it to make you mad. They're doing it because they're dogs. And isn't that why we like them? They're dogs. They're fun. They're entertaining. As you can imagine, I have loads of videos and articles on a lot of those topics I just mentioned. Please make sure you check out those topics so that you can teach your dog an alternative behavior to the behavior you want to change. What do I do when Dexter barks at the window? Do I get mad? Do I yell at him? No, he's a dog. That's his job. That's his job to alert us and say, hey, someone's in the front yard. But then it's my job to say, oh, I see it. It's not a concern. Come on over here. And then redirect him. So redirecting a bad behavior is my go-to. I don't get all upset. I don't want to huff and puff. I want to say, come on over here. Let's get you focused on this. I want to go ahead and stop that behavior, redirect him to something more appropriate. He's just so fired up that there's 4 dogs walking down the street. Then I might need to move him into another room. Now with Dexter, I don't. I just have to tell him, I got it, I see it, settle down, a little chest rub, then we can look at the dogs walking by and all is done. But if you're still working on the training with your dog, remove him. Just calmly take him into another room, give him a little chest rub, kind of help him settle down. No, you're not reinforcing the behavior. You're just settling him down, bringing his heart rate down so that he can breathe, so that he can focus on something else. Because if he's all over here, good luck. The other way that I tell my dog he's wrong is I ignore him. So the situation of barking at the window, I can't ignore that behavior because that's going to be self-rewarding. He's going to sit there and bark at the window. The dogs have left. He's going to go, oh, I did my job. I barked and those dogs went away. So it's self-reinforcing. I can't ignore that behavior. I have to redirect that behavior. Now there's other behaviors that I can ignore. So if my dog's jumping up for attention and to say hello, which is what they do, I can ignore my dog. That's when I say I have an invisible dog. He doesn't exist. I don't acknowledge him. I don't tell him no. He's just invisible. He's jumping. I pay no attention. he gets no reward. When he gets 4 feet back on the floor or sit, whatever behavior I'm working on, then all of a sudden, oh, there's my dog. And then I can pay attention to that behavior. So I ignore the jumping behavior, pay attention to the good behavior. So if they're being bad and jumping, I ignore that behavior. Or I'll walk away. Still ignoring, but walking away. Ugh. And underneath my breath, you're such a stinky, ugly dog. I'm just going to walk away and not pay attention to you. But don't forget, the key is to reward the good behavior. You can't just focus on the bad. You don't just redirect. You don't just ignore. You have to teach the right. So we need to focus on all those rights. We need to focus more on those rights than we do those wrongs if we really want to change the behavior. Because if the only thing we're doing is taking care of the wrong behavior, we're not going to teach them the right behavior, and you're going to do this for the rest of their life because they're not learning what you expect of them and what's the good behavior. So instead of getting all fired up on all the bad behaviors your dog's doing, try to teach them the right behaviors, redirect the self-reinforcing behaviors, and ignore the behaviors that can extinguish themselves by not getting reinforced. And remember, all these behaviors that you don't like, you can change, but you do have to do a little bit of training. Don't forget to check out my other videos and my blog articles because there's probably a topic that you're trying to address. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of upcoming videos. And if you want to dive deeper into your dog's behavior, training, and care, do check out my Patreon page. The link is below. Until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life. And we'll see you in the next video.